Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Fun Astrology video podcast. Thomas Miller here. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you had a good eclipse weekend. Hope it was good to you. We talked about the energy around that on kind of a little bit of an expanded version of the audio podcast today, so I hope you'll check that out as well. But here, I wanted to show you the visuals. A picture is worth 1,000 words, right? We're going to watch Venus move into Aries here in just a minute. I'll move the chart forward so we can see that. The other thing I wanted to just point out here early on is the moon. Now this is set at 6:47 a.m. and the moon has just moved into Gemini. Now, what we have here is this beautiful display in the morning. I hope you've been able to get up and see it. Obviously, now there's the sunrise point, so the moon now is not part of that picture. And you can see how these guys are pretty high in the sky now. This was really a last week kind of thing when we talked about it, but that's still going on in the morning. Now, let's move this chart forward just a bit here. We'll move it up to just after 12 noon, and boom, there we've got Venus just moved into Aries. Now, the next big event will be when Jupiter moves in, and that's going to be on May 10th, the same day that Mercury in Gemini goes retrograde, and it will end up back in Taurus. So we're going to revisit some of that later Taurian energy around, and I'll tell you what I've got my eye on still is the finances and the money and the food supplies. So all of that could be factored into this Mercury retrograde. We'll see how it responds, keeping our eye on it. Look at this other aspect that's going to hit this week. The sun is going to conjunct Neptune, so get ready for some surprises. And the other one that happened over the weekend was that Venus and Jupiter conjoined. That was on Saturday. That was right after the eclipse. If we were to consider this in the realm of financial astrology, the big planets that you want to keep an eye on are Pluto, of course, Jupiter and Venus, Venus ruling money, anything that the sun does, Uranus, and then we kind of look at these others as trigger points, the ones that we've just mentioned, Mars, Moon, Mercury, etc. And really what that implies in financial astrology can bring right on into our lives, because if we kind of consider these big outer planets as the theme builders, and then we look at the faster moving planets as the triggers, and what we had before the weekend was we had the eclipse, of course, in Taurus at 10 degrees. But right before that, we had the two benefics aligning, and yet the market went down on Friday. We'll see what it does today. Maybe we're at a bottom, maybe it bounces. The other thing I've kind of been looking at that chart is saying, wow, this looks a lot like 1987, where it went off the cliff. So we'll just see. And, here's the crazy thing is the energies are kind of supporting either kind of direction. I mean, there is a sudden surprise, right? There was that very interesting aspect, and now that has moved into Aries. So now Venus is in a fiery energy sign. And then, of course, we're going to talk about tomorrow these guys right here, because I got my eye on Saturn and Pluto, especially how they're relating to these other signs in the chart. So really, that's where we're going to start tomorrow. Now, the other thing about this Moon and Mercury, right here, let me get these two highlighted. Moon and Mercury in Gemini. What we're looking at there is this triggering of communication and being in our head, lack of a better term or better word. It's that whole mercurial intellect, but this is also analyzing. This is understanding. This is boosting our knowledge. And the moon being in there is also obviously going to trigger things around communication. And this is a benefic aspect. In fact, it's in a trine, as you can see right here, to Pluto. Pluto being that element here of extra power, because we're looking at the at the the trine aspect here, the favorable aspect of Pluto's not only transformation, right? Death and rebirth. Let's keep transformation in mind, but this is positive. These are in positive dynamics. So as long as we keep the intentions of our communication with love and with building other people up, and by goodness sakes, today there's that thin line of spillover between what happens on social media and those really unrealistic conversations of negativity. And then all of a sudden, when does that cross into our real world? But let's share love. Let's be love. Let's speak love. Let's show love, even when it gets a little bit tense and tough. All right? So I think that's the best game plan for today. 2 days with the moon in Gemini here. And then as we look toward the first third, the first decan of the month on the 10th, we've got some major shifts, because then Jupiter moves into Aries, Mercury goes retrograde, and we've got a whole different chart by May 10th. So enjoy the energy today. We'll be back tomorrow, and where I want to pick up with this is we're going to talk about Saturn and Pluto, not only in their relationship with each other, but their relationship with the rest of the chart. Have a great Monday. I'll see you back tomorrow. And check out the audio podcast. And remember, the Fun Astrology 101 course is on anti-inflation special sales. So check it out at funastrology.com.